Hey, welcome to another Bourbon Burner series. It's almost the holidays, and nothing says the holidays for me like brunch and family and get-togethers and just really, really good food. So today, without further ado, because I don't want to go long, let's get right into it. Hey, welcome back to the Bourbon Bounty Kitchen. As I mentioned in the intro, brunch we're coming up on the holiday season, but not everything we're gonna do today has to be all about brunch, but this is a brunch sort of thing. So 3 things we're gonna make today is pancakes. I'm gonna do a bourbon whipped cream, and I'm going to also do a bourbon maple pecan topping. So these 3 things, I'll try to speed this along as best I can. I have my ingredients pre-measured, but I will put the recipe in the description down below, so I'm not going to go over all of that. But the first thing we have here is flour, and you can get the exact measurements from down there. With my flour, I'm going to add all my dry ingredients. So this is my baking powder. I'm going to go in, and again, you know, you can get the measurements down below. This is sugar, just granulated sugar. So I'm gonna get all my dry ingredients in, and I need a little teaspoon of salt. So let me grab that. I did not pre-measure the salt, but that's okay. I always measure carefully when baking. Cooking, different story. You can have a little leeway with stuff, but baking, you need to hit stuff pretty much on the mark. Now that I have my dry ingredients in, I'm gonna grab a whisk from a handy dandy bucket. Now I'm just gonna kind of mix these dry ingredients together, and then when I'm done, I'm gonna make a well in the middle. I'm just gonna whisk it toward the sides. Just leave it indention, and this is where I'm gonna put my egg and my milk, right in the middle there. So I already have an egg, and of course, when I cracked this egg, it came out beautiful. The yolk didn't break, and I'm just gonna mix it all in anyway, but I'm gonna drop my egg in. And I'm not gonna add the bourbon yet, because I'm gonna divide this because I want my control. But if you're doing this, you can just do it all together. Put my milk in, I'm gonna add it a little at a time and get that yolk broke. Start getting this stuff whisked together. So basically I'm making this is my pancake batter, all right? I'm gonna make this, and then we'll cook it here in a little bit. But before we do that, I'm going to divide them, and I will keep them separated. Now this stuff has to be whisked up good, because if you leave clumps in this, yeah, you want a smooth pancake batter. So let me get to whisking. All right, I got it whisked up pretty good. Now I'm going to just take about half of it and put it into this smaller bowl. So let me do that. Switch these around. All right, I have some divided out here, and now this part, I'm just gonna shoot for maybe like a half teaspoon or something of bourbon. I'm using the benchmark on this one, and I'm just gonna put a little bourbon in there. I will tell you, I do have 2 other bourbons selected for the different recipes, but we'll get into those shortly. Let me mix this bourbon in right quick. Oh, this smells amazing. All right, so now we have non-bourbon and bourbon pancake batter. All right, now it's time for the whipped cream. What goes better with Thanksgiving and Christmas than whipped cream? And homemade whipped cream is 10 times better than what you can get, the Cool Whip and things like that. So very, very simple. I have a half pint, which is a cup of heavy, this is whipping cream. I have confectioner sugar, vanilla, and I chose for this recipe Elijah Craig. I chose it because of its sweetness, and it has a little honeysuckle flavor to it, to me, and I think it will go really, really well with this whipped cream. So this is super simple. I'm armed here with my weapon, or my measuring spoons, but I am going to pour in my stand mixer. Now you can do this by hand. You can use a hand mixer, like an electric one, or knock yourself out if you just want to whisk away for a while. But I have the whisk attachment in here, so I'm going to pour in my heavy cream, or my whipping cream. You can use heavy cream too, but they just call this one whipping cream. So there's that. Now we're going to add a tablespoon of confectioner sugar. Now you want to use confectioner sugar because we're not going to heat this, and this will melt quickly, dissolve and turn and run into, and I'm going to heat it just slightly. All right, there we go. Now with that, a basic recipe on this, if you don't want to do the bourbon, is to use a teaspoon of vanilla extract. But with this, I'm going to use 1/4 of a teaspoon, and I'm going to use the Elijah Craig as a teaspoon of bourbon. So we're going to do this. Get my little 1/4 of a teaspoon here, just to add a little vanilla kick to it. And then and I had to wipe off the spoon. But then I said a teaspoon, I meant a 1/2 teaspoon. I'm gonna put a 1/2 teaspoon of bourbon in there. You don't want this too strong. And remember, when you make this is live bourbon. We're not gonna cook this out. And with all of these recipes, you're never gonna cook out all of the alcohol, but you will cook out a substantial amount of the alcohol when you're cooking. Especially if you're making a sauce, you're pretty much going to cook the alcohol out. But with those pancakes, there could still be some live alcohol in there, so just be careful. You know, this is for adults, mimosa brunch type thing, and I will talk about a mimosa later, but kind of come up with an idea for when I want to try sometime. But that's it. And now all I'm going to do is turn on, I'm going to lift my bowl up and turn on the mixer. And then I'll be back when it's whipped to shape. All right, I've got it where it's peaking and holding its shape. It took several minutes. I will tell you, if you do have a mixer like this, start on a lower setting, and once it starts getting thicker, you can turn it up, and let it go that way. So let me get this bowl out of here. And we will transfer this to one of these, because I am going to refrigerate this while I do other things. So let me get a rubber spatula. Let's see, I think I have one over here. Yep. All right. So we're going to taste this though. That is really, 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 really good. Okay, so set this over here. All right, and now we'll transfer this over. All right, see the peaks? Nice. Okay, clean this bowl out a little bit. And you can use this on pecan pie, pumpkin pie, whatever you want, but we're gonna dollop it on our pancakes when I get them made. But that's it, and I'm gonna put a cover on it and put it in the refrigerator to hold it until we're ready for it. All right, while you certainly can just put maple syrup on pancakes, this is the holidays, and this is a brunch. So we're gonna do something a little bit different. What I have is one slice of bacon that's chopped up here. I'm gonna dump that in, and I'm gonna let this start cooking. Get that piece off. Boink. There we go. To this, once this starts cooking, I'm gonna add a 1/2 cup of pecans, maple syrup, a little bit more sugar, and some Woodford Reserve double oak for this recipe. So let me get this bacon fried up a little bit, and I'll be right back with you. All right, I have my bacon at what I call soft fried. So it's not crispy, but it's starting to get brown around the edges. And bacon really cooks fast, but it's just more pleasurable to eat when you're eating it by itself when it's super crispy. But to this, before it gets over crispy, this is gonna add the crunch. So I'm gonna put the pecans in and get these stirred around in that bacon grease. Get them coated pretty well. All right, and let them roast just a little bit in here with this bacon. And wow, the flavor, I mean, the aromas off of this is just amazing. That nutty pecan flavor, nothing says holidays like pecans, you know, pecan pie. My wife makes like a monkey bread type thing and, you know, puts nuts on it. I mean, it just goes really well with the holidays. So this is a good festive, you know, brunchy dish here that is just quite tasty. Now those have been roasting just a little bit. Now we can start adding our other ingredients. So to this, I'm just gonna take the lid completely off of this thing. And this is organic Vermont maple syrup. It's Trader Joe's. But I'm gonna go ahead and pour this in. There we go. Yummy. Turn the heat down, lower. Give these a good stir. Get these all coated really well. Oh wow, the aroma off of this is amazing. I thought about putting sugar, but I'm not. I put a little more maple syrup in here. This is gonna be amazing, guys. I'm not gonna add any more sugar, but I am gonna go ahead and throw my bourbon in. Again, this is cooking, not baking. So here we go. I bet you that's gonna do it right there. Love me some Woodford Reserve, especially in stuff like this. Let me turn that around so you can see it. All right, now we're gonna let this cook down. Oh, wow. That smells so good. All right, let this thicken back up. Yummy. Oh, one more ingredient to this. I can tell you what it needs. I'm gonna take it off the heat just for a second. I know what this needs. It needs butter. Just a little pat of butter in there. Oh, here's one right here, butter knife. All right, now I'm gonna move it back to the heat because I didn't want my syrup to burn while I was getting and it will burn fast on you. So just remember that. You wanna keep this on a lower heat. Oh, wow. Okay, butter, maple syrup, pecans, bourbon. Yes, that is gonna do it right there. Now, let that butter melt in. I'll get it stirred back up. Oh, that's perfect. Bacon, yummy. All right, so now we're just gonna kill the heat. This is looking really good. You want it, see how that's kind of thick? It's just dripping off. Clinging to the spoon pretty good. That's how you're gonna want it right there. All right, I'm gonna move this off the heat and we have to make pancakes. All right guys, there's nothing handier to make pancakes on than a griddle. And I do have an electric griddle out here. I'm gonna do the non-bourbon pancakes first. This is the only control for this. The only control is, did the bourbon do well in the pancakes themselves? So let me go ahead and start dishing these out here. You know what, that's a little hot. I'm gonna turn it down to about 300 so that it doesn't overdo here. Just gonna spoon these out. All right, I did a rinse and dry on my spoon. Now I'm gonna do these. And because I didn't want to cross the flavors, But now I'm just gonna scoop a couple of these bourbon ones out here. These are starting to almost get ready to flip. You can tell because they get bubbles. The bubbles pop and stay open. I'm just gonna put 2 of these out for now. All right, big fluffy pancakes. I have the non-bourbon ones flipped. When these get ready, I'll get them flipped and take these up, and I will meet you in the studio. All right, guys, so you can see how beautiful these are gonna look, and I'll have them all served up in just a few minutes. Oh my gosh, these look and smell amazing. No bourbon pancakes. Other than that, everything else is the same. Bourbon pecan, bourbon whipped cream. Ooh, I can't wait to try these. But first, I just want to take a nibble off of, oh, these are so fluffy, off of a non-bourbon pancake. Just as good as I remember. Yummy. Okay. Don't worry about the bourbon in the pancake. I don't think it did anything. But I know this is going to be amazing. So I just have 2 plates of it. So with that, I'm just going to go off of this one. All right. Let me taste of this pancake first. Just the pancake itself. Yeah, they're all the same. Okay, pancake didn't do anything. Got my bourbon whipped cream, and I tasted that whipped cream. It's amazing. So I've got my candy pecans running off the side here. Let me get a bite of this and make sure I get some pecans on it. Kind of hard to wrestle. There we go. Ooh, that syrup. And don't they look amazing? You may have to take your mouse, scroll. Excuse me, if you have your phone, you can tilt it. If you have visors on, your mouth's gonna water. But these are so good. It's just a little brunchy thing. We just do it up a little extra for brunch, that's all. Got the bacon in there, giving it a little tiny salt kick. Wow. You know what? I'm not gonna prolong this. This is amazing, absolutely amazing. And remember, this whipped cream can go on anything and it is delicious. All right, so you have the heavy cream, confectioner sugar, a little bit of vanilla, and a teaspoon of bourbon in there. Boom, you have it. Now, like I said, there's live bourbon in there, but it's a teaspoon, right? But still, I would consider it an adult thing if you certainly don't want your kids getting any. But I can't stop eating these, so I said I wasn't gonna take another bite. I lied. So good. My clothes are gonna shrink this winter. I can tell you that already. But with that, guys, I know this is a long episode, 3 parts to it. But as always, please like and subscribe. Hit the bell down there for notifications. Share me out, and I promise I'll keep making you these videos.